Her alpha male trainer told me to hit the weights if I had a problem, so I hit him instead. Now, he knows that muscles don't matter when you're breathing through broken ribs. It started at 6:42 p.m. on a Wednesday. I remember the time because I was watching the microwave countdown as I reheated leftover lasagna, my own birthday dinner from 2 nights ago that she forgot. My phone buzzed with a text from my friend Logan. "Bro, is this your wife? Gym in downtown? Look at this." Attached was a blurry photo, but I'd know that dress anywhere. Tight, red, just inappropriate enough to make strangers stare, and married men ask themselves why there's don't dress like that anymore. And there she was, Melissa, straddling some dude's lap like she didn't have a husband waiting at home with a cold lasagna and a colder marriage. At first, I stared, tried to come up with excuses for her. She's probably just joking with a friend. She's sitting on him like that for balance. Maybe it's a prank. But the truth smacked me harder than any barbell ever could. I zoomed in. His hand was on her lower back. Her lips were an inch from his ear. Her smile? That wasn't her "haha you're so funny" smile. That was her bedroom smile. I called her. Straight to voicemail. So I drove. I didn't care how I looked. Sweatpants, slippers, hoodie with a coffee stain from 2 days ago. I looked like someone you'd cross the street to avoid. But I had a destination and a growing storm behind my ribs. By the time I got to the gym, I could already feel the rage crawling up my neck. Glass doors, loud music, people lifting, running, sweating. I scanned the machines like a predator until I saw her. Melissa, my wife of 6 years, on the squat rack, with him, tall, shirtless, greasy confidence dripping off his abs. And that smirk. God, that ****ing smirk. He was spotting her. No, actually, he had his hands right on her hips, pressing in like they were alone in a bedroom, not a gym. She laughed and bent forward. He leaned closer. I don't even remember walking. I was suddenly there, right beside them. Melissa. She froze like someone just shut off the world. Turned around slowly, guilt painted across her face, and still had the audacity to fake a smile. "Oh, babe, what are you doing here?" "Babe." Her voice made my fists clench. And that's when Mr. Alpha Male stepped in. "Yo, man, if you got a problem, maybe you should hit the weights before you hit the girl with your insecurities." My brain blinked out. Did he really say that? I looked him straight in the eyes. He raised his chin like a peacock, like his six-pack was enough to win wars. "Hit the weights." I repeated. "Yeah," he said, stepping forward. "Or walk away like a good little boy." So I hit him, right in the ribs. 1, 2, maybe 3 shots. He dropped like a sack of dumbbells. The whole gym froze. Melissa screamed. Someone yelled for a manager. I stood over him, heart pounding like a war drum, hands burning from contact. I looked at her, breathing hard, nostrils flaring. And she had the nerve to say it. "You're embarrassing me." Embarrassing her. Not the other way around. Not her grinding on another guy in public. Not her sneaking out for extra cardio. Not her spending our money on new lingerie that I never even got to see. No, I was the one embarrassing her. Security came. Cops were called. I left before they showed up. But that wasn't the end. Oh no, that was just the warm-up. Because what I found next, what I learned after breaking that smug trainer's ribs, it made everything worse. It made me realize how long she'd been lying, how deep the betrayal went, and how far I'd go to make sure no one ever played me like that again. This wasn't just an affair. It was a war, and I was just getting started. The drive home felt like a blackout. I don't remember turning the engine on or pulling out of the parking lot. I just remember the silence. The kind that screams in your ears when everything you believed in starts to rot. I parked outside our house and just sat there, inhaling nothing. My hands were still trembling, not from fear or regret, but from the weight of it all. Melissa hadn't called. Not a single message. Not even to pretend she was sorry. That told me everything. When I finally walked in, the house looked exactly like I left it. Perfectly normal. Her heels were still at the door. Her perfume still hung faintly in the air. The kind I used to love. Now it made me sick. I sat on the couch and stared at the blank TV. Then I spotted her gym bag, tossed lazily by the kitchen table. Something about it felt off, like a loaded gun just sitting there, daring me to pick it up. I didn't think. I acted. Inside the bag was her phone, unlocked. She never left it unlocked. That's how I knew fate wanted me to see. First thing I opened, her messages. There it was. His name, Troy. Of course it was Troy. What else would a shirtless narcissist call himself? The conversation wasn't just flirtation. It was filth. The kind of filth that strips every last shred of trust from your chest. Last night was insane, smiling face with horns. I still smell you on me. He has no idea. I told him I was going for a late-night jog, face with tears of joy. Your hands are magic. Can't wait to be sore again tomorrow. I kept scrolling. Photos. Her in that new lace bodysuit she claimed she bought just for herself. Videos. Her moaning his name in a whisper, lying in the bed where we made our vows every morning and kissed each other goodnight every evening. I slammed the phone down so hard the screen cracked. That's when I noticed the envelope under her gym clothes. Handwritten. My name on it. I opened it slowly, hoping it was a confession or an apology, or hell, maybe just a reason. Inside was a receipt. 2 one-way tickets to Cabo San Lucas. For Melissa and Troy. Departing in 4 days. I didn't feel my body anymore. I stood in the hallway like a ghost of myself, staring at the walls we painted together, the couch we cuddled on, the wedding photo still framed in our living room like it meant something. She came home at 11:24 p.m. No words. No apology. Just walked in like she owned the night. "Oh, so you're still here?" she said, tossing her keys on the counter. "Still here?" I repeated. She shrugged. "I figured you'd be out crying to your mommy or something." I didn't speak. I just looked at her. The woman I married. The woman I once thought was my future. Now just a stranger wearing my wife's face. "I saw the messages," I said quietly. She froze for a second, then laughed. "Took you long enough." That laugh. That cold, unapologetic, venom-laced laugh. It broke something in me. Not the kind of break that makes you fall apart. The kind that makes you wake the hell up. I stepped toward her. She didn't flinch. She looked me straight in the eye like she was proud of it. "So what now?" she said. "You gonna cry? Throw another punch? Maybe break something else? Or are you just gonna finally accept you're not enough for me?" That was it. Not enough. I had worked 2 jobs for 3 years so she could finish nursing school. I had paid off her credit cards. I held her hair when she was sick, kissed her forehead every morning, never missed a birthday, anniversary, or Friday night movie on the couch. And I was not enough? "Do you even feel anything?" I asked. She rolled her eyes. "Yeah, I feel free." And just like that, she walked past me, into our bedroom, slammed the door behind her. I didn't follow. I sat on the couch, staring at the broken screen of her phone, at the crack that ran through Troy's smug little message, and I made a decision. This wasn't about saving a marriage. This was about saving me. And I wasn't going down quietly. I didn't sleep that night. I lay there on the couch, eyes open, heart refusing to slow down. Every second ticked like a hammer in my chest. At 3:16 a.m., I heard the bedroom door creak. Her footsteps padded softly into the kitchen. Then the fridge opened. She was making a damn smoothie. After everything, after the messages, the gym, the smug trainer, the Cabo tickets, she was making a smoothie. I stayed silent, listening to the blender scream like it knew what I wanted to do. She walked back to the bedroom, sipping from the cup like it was just another day. Like she wasn't a fire tearing through everything we'd built. By morning, she was gone. No note. No message. Just gone. I took a long shower. Let the water burn. It couldn't scrub the disgust off my skin. When I walked back into the living room, her suitcase was missing from the closet. The black one with the gold zippers. The one she only used for trips where she planned on not coming back home clean. I called her sister. Madison was always the one who kept secrets badly. "Did Melissa go somewhere?" I asked. Madison hesitated, long enough to answer me without saying a word. "Cabo." More silence. Then finally, in a whisper like she was afraid Melissa could hear through the phone, she said it was a wellness trip with her trainer. "She told Mom you were going too." That was the moment I knew I wasn't just being cheated on, I was being erased. She wasn't having an affair. She was rewriting the whole story of us, making me the irrelevant side character in her glamorous, dishonest, Instagram-filtered life. That night, I drove to the gym. Again. Not to fight. Not to scream. I just needed to see him. The man who thought he could slide into my life and walk off with my wife like she was a dumbbell he picked up off the rack. Troy was outside, finishing a call. He didn't see me at first. His jaw was still slightly swollen from where I cracked it. He had sunglasses on, a protein shake in one hand, and a smirk on his face. I walked straight up. "Melissa's in Cabo with your name on her boarding pass," I said. He turned slowly, smiling like he'd just beat me again. "Yeah, man. She told me you'd find out eventually. I took a step closer. You proud of this? He laughed. You think she wanted your flabby, clingy, emotional mess forever? She needed a real man. That word again. Real. So I got real. I grabbed the shake out of his hand and slammed it into his chest, then shoved him so hard he hit the hood of his car. He lunged at me, but I was ready this time. I drove my elbow into his ribs, the same ribs, again and again, until he folded like laundry. He gasped, curled on the sidewalk, trying to talk, but only wheezing like a kicked dog. I leaned down close. You ever show your face around her again, and I'll make sure the next bones that break are your legs. I walked away without waiting for a reply. Back home, I started packing. Not her stuff, mine. I wasn't going to wait around for her to come back from Cabo smelling like coconut oil and guilt. I wasn't going to be the man she returned to when things got boring with her trainer toy. I was done being the soft place she landed while stabbing me in the back. That's when I found the second phone. Buried in her underwear drawer, behind a box of tampons, was a cheap burner phone. I knew it was hers because the wallpaper was a photo of her from last summer. At the beach, same red bikini, same overconfident smile. I unlocked it. No passcode. Messages. Dozens. But not from Troy. From others. Different names. Different emojis. Some saved as initials. One just saved as Room 312. All of them, the same disgusting tone. She wasn't just cheating with Troy. Troy was just the latest. I dropped the phone on the floor like it burned. My marriage wasn't dying. It had been dead for a long time. She just forgot to bury it. The realization hit harder than anything I threw at Troy. She wasn't lost. She wasn't confused. She wasn't falling out of love. She was a professional liar. Cold-blooded. Calculated. Practiced. And I'd been the idiot who bought into the illusion with my whole damn soul. I stared at that burner phone, still lying on the floor like a dead animal. I didn't even want to touch it again. It wasn't just evidence. It was a graveyard. A graveyard for every lie she told. Every night, she came home late claiming she had a meeting. Every time she moaned in my ear while her mind was somewhere else. Or on someone else. I picked it up with 2 fingers like it was diseased and dropped it into the fireplace. Turned the knob. Watched it burn. She deserved to lose something too. Then I took her wedding ring from the nightstand, the one she hadn't worn in weeks, and slid it onto the mantel, right above the flames. Not to burn, just to watch. I wanted it to stare into the fire and remember what she destroyed. A knock on the door startled me. It was Logan. I saw what happened at the gym, he said. You all right? I didn't answer. Just stepped aside and let him in. He didn't ask questions. He didn't try to offer advice or bro wisdom. He sat down across from me and cracked open 2 beers without saying a word. After a long silence, I finally spoke. She's been cheating for a long time. Not just with Troy. Logan nodded slowly. You want me to help you disappear a body? That almost made me smile. Almost. We drank in silence. It felt like the first real moment of peace in days. The next morning, I booked a 1-bedroom apartment across town. Month-to-month lease. Nothing permanent. I didn't need permanent anymore. I needed freedom. Distance. Air. I packed only what mattered. My clothes, my guitar, a few books. Left everything else. Let her come back to the hollow house she built out of lies and see what it felt like when silence echoed louder than guilt. On the 3rd day, she called. Blocked number. But I knew it was her. I answered out of curiosity more than anything. Why aren't you home? She snapped. No hello. No, I'm sorry. No remorse. Just entitlement. I moved out. What? You're being dramatic. I laughed. Really? I found your second phone. Silence. Melissa, how many were there? 10. 20? Or did you just stop counting after you realized you'd never get caught? You're being paranoid, she hissed. I burned it, I said calmly. All your little secrets? They're ash now. You can't just leave. This is still our house. It stopped being ours when you started renting out your soul. Then I hung up. The next few days were quiet. Peaceful even. I went for walks. Ate food that wasn't microwaved. Slept without the weight of betrayal pressing down on my chest. But peace never lasts long when you're dealing with someone like Melissa. She showed up at my new place uninvited. I came back from a grocery run and there she was, sitting on the steps like some twisted ghost from my past. You didn't answer my texts, she said like it was my fault. I blocked you. You're seriously throwing away 6 years over some stupid mistakes? Some. Stupid. Mistakes. I didn't throw anything away, I said. You did. You set it on fire and danced around the ashes. She stood up, got close. That manipulative softness in her voice, like she still thought she could win me back if she just tilted her head right. We can fix this. No, you can't fix this. And I don't want to. And for the first time in years, I saw it. Not her anger. Not her fake tears. Fear. She realized she had nothing left to hold over me. No guilt. No confusion. No twisted fantasy of reconciliation. I had walked away, and worse, I wasn't hurting anymore. Goodbye, Melissa. I walked inside and locked the door. She banged on it for 10 full minutes. Then silence. That silence was the most beautiful sound I've ever heard. She didn't come back after that night. No more calls. No texts. No sudden visits. Nothing. Just like that, it was over. But over doesn't mean healed. The real pain doesn't hit during the screaming matches or the discovery or even the betrayal. It comes in the quiet moments. The empty Sunday mornings when you realize no one's making coffee in the kitchen. The nights you roll over instinctively, reaching for someone who's not there and never really was. You start questioning yourself. Was I blind? Was I weak? Was I boring? And then the worst one, was it my fault? That one stays in your throat like glass. I went through phases. Anger mostly. Then guilt. Then shame for feeling guilty. It was like trying to peel a bullet out with your bare hands. One day, I opened my email and saw something that made my stomach twist. A message from a name I didn't recognize. I almost deleted it, but something stopped me. The subject line, "You don't know me, but I know Melissa." I opened it. "Hi, my name's Lauren. I don't want to cause drama, but I think you deserve to know. I'm dating a guy named Troy, and I recently found some photos and messages between him and a woman named Melissa. She said she was married, but separated. I found your name through her tagged photos. I'm sorry if this is overstepping, but you seemed like someone who deserves the truth." I just stared at the screen. Even after everything, the damage was still spreading. She was still lying, still playing, still destroying. I replied, "Lauren, you're not overstepping. You're probably the 6th or 7th woman to find out about her this way. I hope you get out before she ruins you too. Good luck." She responded once more. "Thanks. I already left him. And I'm sorry for what you've been through. You seem like a good man." I didn't cry, but for the first time since it all started, I felt a little lighter. Someone saw me. Someone believed me. And maybe, just maybe, I wasn't the broken one in the story. Weeks passed. I started rebuilding. Got a better job. Joined a gym, not to become a walking ego like Troy, but to feel strong in my own skin again. I played guitar more. Ate better. Slept deeper. Then, on a random Thursday afternoon, I saw her. At the grocery store. Melissa. Pushing a cart. Alone. She looked tired. Pale. Makeup couldn't cover the weight on her face. Her hair was pulled back in a lazy knot, not the high-maintenance curls she used to obsess over. She looked empty. Our eyes met. She froze. Mouth opened slightly, like she wanted to say something. I didn't stop. I walked past her without a word, like she was no one. And in that second, I realized something. I won. Not because I hurt her. Not because I exposed her. But because I survived her. She didn't break me. She tested me. Burned me. Scarred me. But I'm still standing. Stronger. Wiser. Cleaner. And she's still just a ghost in a story I've already finished. A week later, I mailed the final set of divorce papers. No note. No message. Just a signature where mine used to mean forever. I never heard from her again. And if you're reading this, if you've been through something like this, or if you're in it right now, let me say this. You will survive. The lies will cut you. The betrayal will bury you. The silence will hurt. But you'll crawl out. And when you do, you won't be the same. You'll be better. Because some people aren't storms. They're the smoke that follows the fire. And once you've learned to breathe through the ashes, no flame can ever scare you again. Months went by. Real months. Not the kind that feel like a blur, but the kind you live through, breath by breath. The kind where each day feels earned. I started seeing the world differently, like the betrayal had stripped away some kind of fog. I didn't smile much yet, but when I did, it was real. People around me noticed. Logan said it one night over beers. "You look lighter, man. Like someone cut loose the anchor." He was right. But healing isn't a straight line. Sometimes it punches you when you least expect it. Like the day I got the letter. Not an email. Not a text. A letter. Handwritten in blue ink, on expensive cream-colored paper. No return address. The handwriting was familiar, elegant, obsessive, a little too perfect. Melissa. I almost tossed it without opening, but curiosity, it's a cruel thing. I unfolded it slowly. The smell of her perfume hit me like a trap. Same scent she wore on our honeymoon. That wasn't an accident. That was strategy. Manipulation wrapped in nostalgia. It read, Evan, I don't know if you'll ever forgive me. I don't expect you to. But I want you to know, I wasn't always like this. You loved me in a way no one else ever has. I destroyed that. I see it now. And it eats me alive. I miss your laugh. I miss how safe I felt with you. Troy is gone. So are the others. They never meant what you did. I still dream of us. Please don't hate me forever. Please remember something good. M. There was no apology. Not really. Just a woman mourning the consequences she created. It wasn't love in that letter. It was loneliness. I burned it the same night. I didn't want her memory touching my walls anymore. The next day, I took a hike up near Millstone Ridge, a trail I hadn't visited in years. I used to talk about taking her there. We never went. She said it was too muddy and not worth the bugs. I stood at the overlook alone, wind against my face, trees below dancing like they had secrets. And I let it out. Not a scream, not tears, just breath. A deep, full breath. The kind that fills every corner of your lungs and presses down the past. That night, I wrote something for myself. No one else. Just a journal entry. But it felt like closure. March 14th. She didn't love me. She loved the way I loved her. There's a difference. She was addicted to adoration, not connection. To attention, not affection. But that's not my burden anymore. My only job now is to be better, smarter, wiser, kinder to myself. I folded the paper and left it under my pillow. Weeks later, I went on a date. Her name was Claire. She had the kind of smile that doesn't beg for compliments, and the kind of laugh that doesn't wait for permission. She asked real questions and actually listened to the answers. At dinner, she asked, "What was your last relationship like?" I took a sip of water and smiled. Let's just say, I learned a lot. She nodded. I've had a few of those myself. No probing, no drama, just understanding. It was the first time I talked to a woman without feeling like I was auditioning for a role I didn't want anymore. And that was the moment I knew I was free. Not because I met someone new, not because I forgot the past, but because I could sit across from someone and not think about her. Melissa was gone, not just from my life, but from my mind, from my chest, from my story. She's a ghost now. No voice, no power, no weight. And me? I'm still here, breathing, living. Claire and I didn't rush anything. That was the difference. There was no pretending, no masks, no playing roles we weren't built for. We met for coffee, then lunch, then a late-night drive where we just talked, windows down, her bare feet on the dash, the smell of pine trees blowing through the air. She asked things Melissa never bothered with. What scares you the most? What's something you miss from your childhood? What song do you put on when nobody's around? It wasn't about the answers. It was about being seen. But one night, after a quiet dinner at her place, I froze. She leaned in to kiss me, and I flinched. Not because I didn't want it, because part of me still expected a knife behind the softness. That old reflex, the one you grow when someone teaches you that love is camouflage for betrayal. She noticed. Her hand didn't pull away. Instead, she cupped my face, gently. "You're safe," she whispered. "I'm not her." And just like that, the walls cracked. Not shattered, cracked. That's how healing starts. Not with fireworks. With permission. I told her everything that night. The gym. The phone. Troy. The Cabo tickets. The second phone. Even the part where Melissa showed up at my door pretending like I owed her something. Claire didn't interrupt. Didn't flinch. When I was done, she said the one thing I never heard from anyone else. "You didn't deserve that." It hit me like a gut punch. Because deep down, some broken part of me still wondered if I had. She kissed my forehead. Not my lips. Not my neck. My forehead. Like she was putting something back together. We didn't talk much after that. Just lay on the couch, her head on my chest, our heartbeats sinking like some quiet answer the universe finally decided to give. A week later, I got the final confirmation. Melissa had sold the house. Through a lawyer. No contact. No letter. Just a formal notification and a deposit in my account, my half. It was the last string. The last knot. And with it gone, I realized something wild. I wasn't angry anymore. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want closure. I didn't even want her to suffer. I just wanted peace. So I gave it to myself. No ceremony. No drama. Just a new chapter. Claire and I took a road trip 2 months later. No destination. Just open roads and old songs and gas station coffee. Somewhere between Arizona and Utah, she fell asleep with her hand in mine, and I looked at her, really looked, and thought, this is how it's supposed to feel. Not like fireworks. Like freedom. And here's what I'll say to any man reading this. Any man who's been lied to, cheated on, discarded like he was a stepping stone instead of a partner. You are not what she did to you. You're not the silence she left you in. You're not the lies she used to cover her mess. You're not the wreckage. You're the man who walked out of it. The one who didn't become her. The one who healed. And somewhere down the road, when you least expect it, you'll find someone who doesn't need to fix you. Just someone who knows you're already whole. And this time, you'll believe them. It's strange, really, how something that once felt like your entire life can become just a lesson. A scar, not a wound. Something you remember, but no longer feel. I don't hate Melissa. I don't love her either. What I feel now is something more powerful than either of those. Nothing. And that's freedom. There's no more weight when I walk into our old places. No more flinching when I hear her name. No more waiting for an apology that was never coming. I stopped looking for closure the moment I realized I was the closure. She broke the illusion. I built a life. And it's better. So much better. Not because I found someone new. Not because I healed faster than she did. But because I refused to let her define the rest of my story. She was a chapter. A brutal one. But she wasn't the whole book. Now, when I look in the mirror, I don't see a victim. I see a man who walked through hell and kept walking. A man who learned the hardest way that love isn't what you give to someone who doesn't value it. It's what you rebuild inside yourself after they're gone. Claire's still with me. Not because I need her. Because I choose her. That's the difference. No more rescuing. No more fixing. Just two people, whole on their own, building something new together. So if you're still in it, still bleeding, still confused, still clutching pieces that no longer fit, let me leave you with this. You're not alone. You're not broken. And you damn sure aren't weak. You're just at the part of the story where the storm hasn't passed yet. But it will. And when it does, you won't just survive. You'll rise. You'll rebuild. You'll remember who the hell you are. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll walk past a mirror, catch your reflection, and smile. Because you made it. Because you healed. And because the man staring back, he's free.